Hey everyone, today we will be making some Birria Tacos. This dish has been so iconic in the last year or so in America. The trend kind of started in California through TikTok and social media, but nowadays you can find it almost anywhere in a Mexican restaurant or a taqueria. The true origination of this dish comes from Jalisco, Mexico. It is a dish that uses goat meat and beef, and it is stewed for hours and used in all kinds of dishes in Mexico. Over here, we most times just see it in tacos and quesadillas and burritos. It is a time-consuming and complicated dish, but I really think it's worth it because of all the amazing flavors that come from it. So let's talk ingredients for these Birria Tacos. For the meat, we're using 2 pounds of short rib and 2 pounds of chuck roast. We have onions, garlic, Mexican oregano, bay leaf, cinnamon stick. Then we also have some coriander powder, tomato paste, beef stock, and the classic salt and pepper. And now, this is one of the most important parts, and that is the peppers. These peppers are so amazing. We have 5 to 6 arbol chilies, 4 guajillo chilies, and we have a couple ancho chili peppers as well. Each pepper gives this dish its own unique flavor, and together it just provides a such well-balanced dish. Alright, first we're going to put these peppers into a pot with some boiling water while we work on the rest of the ingredients. Start by salting and peppering your meat, then drop it into a pan. I'm using my Dutch oven for the first time. The Dutch oven is a cast iron pan that is used for sauces and heavy dishes, so it's perfect for this. It has an enamel coating that helps you with a good sear on meat and a good saute on vegetables. I'm dropping in the meat for about a minute and a half on each side, and you're not really trying to cook the meat, you're just searing it so there's some really good crust and that builds really good flavor. All the brown stuff that's on the bottom of this pan is called fond, and this stuff is crucial for good cooking. It is the flavor that comes from the meat and from its caramelization. Once I'm done searing the meat, I throw in about 1 yellow onion finely chopped. While I'm cooking this, I'm going to be scraping the bottom of the pan and getting all that fond that I talked about off the pan and into the onions. Once the onions are starting to cook down a little bit more, I take my peppers from the boiling water and I'm just going to blend it up with about 1.5 cups of the water that I cooked in. The onions are cooked down, I add in about 8 cloves of garlic that I sliced very thinly. Once the garlic cooks down, I'll add in about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. I'm going to cook the tomato paste down for about a minute or two. Doing this really helps the tomato paste change its flavor to something that is a little bit less raw, less sweeter, and less acidic. This step is very crucial when you're cooking with tomato paste because the original tomato paste comes in very raw. After that, I will add about 2 quarts of beef stock to deglaze the pan. Deglazing is another step to kind of dissolve all that fond and flavor on the bottom of the pan, and it dissolves all of this and it makes everything in this pot into a cohesive liquid for the braising of the meat. We want just enough liquid to submerge the meat completely into the pot, and once we have that step done, I'm going to add in all that blended chili that we did from rehydrating it in the water. And this is basically what kind of brings in that Birria flavor. These peppers pack in so much flavor, and we're just going to use this to braise the meat. For the aromatics, we're going to add in a whole stick of cinnamon, Mexican oregano, salt, coriander, and bay leaves. Mexican oregano is actually very different from the regular oregano that we use in Italian dishes. So just make sure that you have the right kind for this dish. Once we have everything incorporated, we're going to have the heat on high and get the dish to a high boil. Once it kind of starts boiling, we're going to lower the heat to a medium high and cover it with the lid and let it simmer for about 1.5 hours. It is important to check it every 30 minutes or so to see how much your meat has really cooked. While your meat is cooking, let's start working on the cheese. For this dish, we're using Oaxaca cheese. To simply put it, it's the closest to a Mexican string cheese. It is very melty like a mozzarella, and it's what's used traditionally in this dish. So what I'm doing here is basically just ripping it up into smaller pieces, and it's basically like ripping a mozzarella stick or like a cheese stick. After about 2 hours, my meat was done cooking. I may have just overcooked it just a little bit, but it was still very tender and it shredded semi-easily. I would wait and let it cool down to rip it up, but you can be impatient like me and burn your fingers. If you feel that your meat is just a little dry, something you can do is just ladle in some of that consommé. The consommé is all that beautiful broth that is left in the pot. Alright, let's construct a queso taco. First, you want to dip your tortilla in the consommé completely and put it on the griddle. On top of that, you're going to add your Oaxaca cheese and let that melt a little bit as well. After that, you can add the meat and then you can close it up and crisp on both sides on the griddle and just serve it with a cup of consommé for dipping. And there it is. That is a perfect birria queso taco. I also made a quick onion and cilantro and lime juice mixture to kind of top off the tacos from the consommé. This adds a little bit of acidity to cut through the tenderness of the meat. I do want to say that this is a recipe that I kind of made by researching a bunch of different recipes from other chefs and content creators, so it's not completely traditional or accurate, but nevertheless it was absolutely delicious. I made this for my friends for a game night dinner that I had last night, and some of them even said this was better than the Birria Tacos that they've had in the restaurants in the area. I wasn't sure if this dish would be worth all the effort and the time, but it really was. I'm really glad that I made it, and if you have the time, you should too. I feel like I took a risk by making this complicated dish today, and I want to give a shout out to one of my friends who took a risk as well, and that is Atypical Lifestyle. Atypical is a clothing line made by one of my friends, Christian Verghese and Chris Matthew. During the pandemic, they took a risk and started to pursue their passion of making these dope clothes. Y'all should check out their Instagram page, which is at atypical.lifestyle, and their Twitter page at atypical_LFSTYL. And check out their website and buy their clothes as soon as possible. Atypical is all about being different and spreading the message that anyone could and should do anything they feel passionate about. They offer exclusive streetwear collections that drop every couple months. I love the message that they share because the fact that these guys chase their passions is truly awesome, and the brown community needs more of this type of initiative. They need to be atypical. I got this shirt myself and the material is amazing. The design is unique and I'm so glad I bought mine, and you should go to their website right now and try to buy it. I have the link in my bio. And as always, guys, if there is someone in your community that is selling something that's awesome or making something or just an Instagram page that you want me to support or shout out, please let me know and I got you guys. Please follow me on Instagram and subscribe to my YouTube page. Thank you for all the love and support. I hope you guys have a great week.